All right, people, what is happening? What is happening? So I'm going to react to this video, Sam Does Art, and it's titled, I Found the Biggest Scam in the Art World. You got to love the algorithm with the exaggeration. I found the biggest scam. We got you scammer. We finally got you. But yeah, starting to lose some hair. I got the Vegeta hairline. It's crazy. That's how it is when you get old, people. Eventually, I'll either go bald or hair transplant. And most likely, I'd rather go bald. I ain't hair transplant. Maybe not. Maybe not. But whatever. Let's get into this video, all right? Artist reaction video to this. Let's go.
Recently, I made a video talking about the potential AI scams that were happening at art conventions and just
Oh, yeah, I
warning
remember
people
that.
to be careful
You guys
where
haven't seen it,
they're
go check out
spending
that
their
video.
money. Now, if
Or
you go
react.
looking for that video on my channel now, you're not going to find it because unfortunately, James C. Mulligan, Jimmy here, has decided to file a wrongful copyright claim against my video and added a copyright strike to my channel. Now, for those who are not familiar, Jimmy is a self-proclaimed Disney legend. He has done some work for Disney in the past and has since then really attached himself to the brand. But recently, a lot of
you gotta love that. I always take it as a compliment. You gotta strike my channel. I'm that relevant. You're hurting my business, right? Because think about it. If it was somebody in a smaller channel, he wouldn't care. But since this guy has Sam Does Art almost has 2 million subscribers, it's like like Steve Austin, That's I always find that funny.
of allegations have come out against James C. Mulligan and his potential use of Gen AI in his work, as well as deceiving his customers at conventions. It was also noted by a lot of people online that he seemed to have plagiarized a lot of his paintings. When this copyright strike first hit my channel, I thought this must have been a mistake because every single—
And for anybody out there who's like, I don't know, I don't care about that. Well, for me, if someone hit a copyright, I wouldn't care because this is not my bread and butter. I don't get paid doing all this stuff. But someone like a Sam Does Art, this is his full-time job. So if you get hit with a copyright strike, especially multiple copyright strikes, it's the 3 strikes and you're out. So they'll boot you, they'll yeet you out of YouTube, and then you won't make any of your money. And then the advertisers or the sponsors that you have, they will pull away as well. So for all those people out there who's like, I have multiple streams of income, not really, because the tree is YouTube. So if YouTube goes away, I'm not saying for him, but for most content creators, if you get yeeted off of YouTube, good luck with continuing social media as a career, unless you are big on Instagram. But YouTube is really the cornerstone of people's livelihood on social media.
Single image that I used here falls under fair use. Now, I might be mistaken here, but I'm pretty sure Disney, Lorcana, Flounder, Ariel, and Rapunzel belong to Disney and not James C. Mulligan. And to further prove this was done in bad faith, James has claimed the content was found in the entire video, when in reality, the total time that all of those images are actually on screen adds up to less than 50 seconds. I counted. Now, I was gonna let this one slide because I'm a man of peace, and we all get emotional sometimes. Understand it. I get it, Jimmy. But then I found out that he's been going around and doing—
read this. He just went after me. My channel has almost 250,000 subscribers and video had over 90,000. The reason why I'm reading it right here because it's a bigger monitor rather than this monitor right here is like a lot smaller because it's the OBS, right? I can't read that small, so I'm going to read right here. I'm not quite sure how to proceed. Hi, Skull. We received a copyright removal request for your video based on an applicable copyright law. Was removed for your video from YouTube. This official art was AI generated. You now have 1 copyright strike. If you have multiple copyright strikes, well, we have to terminate. That's my horrible Arnold Schwarzenegger. Terminate your YouTube channel. To prevent that from happening, please do not upload videos continuing the copyright, because if you keep doing it, we're gonna yeet you out of here. You're gone like Yu-Gi-Oh! To the Shadow Realms with you.
Doing the same thing to other YouTubers and striking other people's channels talking about this issue. Jimmy here appears to be on a campaign to take down all sorts of content that even remotely mention him using false copyright claims. This is just straight up bad practice. Inkwell, who made the very first video on this subject and whose video I cited in my last video, also got the same copyright claim. Now, Jimmy here has also sent cease and desist letters to both
This is not good. This is not good. When a content creator is putting it out there on a whole hazing campaign of hazing so many other content creators because it did commentary off of their content, um, it will backfire. Because if your claim is false and multiple people fought the false claim, then your channel can cease to exist. So it's a real Russian roulette. This is why you don't want to dive into this type of stuff. This is where it gets nasty. It gets wicked. It gets disgusting.
Inkwell, as well as the
I'm not
original
reading
kid
all
who
that.
called him out on
Yeah.
X. With
I could pause. Well, you guys can pause it and
this
read all
post
that,
saying
'cause
his wife
I'm
is
not
now
reading all that.
threatening me legally. Fortunately, I've not had the honor to receive a cease and desist letter from him yet, but I don't know, maybe I did. I just don't check my emails. Clearly, in this scenario, Jimmy has very bad legal standing, and there is absolutely nothing that he could sue us for. This is unfortunately a pressure tactic that might actually work on smaller artists who are afraid of potential legal fees and involvements, and even of just James's self-proclaimed standing in the industry. Now, so far, this whole AI allegation against him seems more like a he said, she said type of deal, because we cannot definitively prove that somebody
Yeah, I mean, this is where it gets murky, like, because he is a legit artist, but did he actually utilize AI? Did he cut corners? We'll see. Only time will tell.
used to get them removed. So this is the first piece of evidence where he took a Bambi background, official background, and put it into his art. Now you can see the background versus the art, and there's going to be a layover here just like that. That's the background overlaid on top of the art, and it is a 1-for-1.
Okay, let's read it right here. James C. Mulligan is going after videos and people who call him out for seeing AI images. He's using copyright as an excuse to get rid of them, to get them removed, which is so baffling considering he's a serial tracer. Woo! He's a tracer. He also claimed official Bambi background art as his own, but there's so much more along. So yeah. So he's being outed for cutting corners. Now I always say, artists out there, even myself, I find ways to cut corners too. I don't design backgrounds, right? I'm very open when it comes down to that. I don't make backgrounds. I do character designs, and I use the background as just the background. It's not the focal point, and I blur out the background. So that's how I do it. However, if you claim that you designed the background as well, and then there's proof that you haven't, ooh, and then you also trace your own, you trace artwork. What do you guys think about that? Is that a true artist, or is that someone who's just gotten lazy over time in their career? Let me know down below.
And that's not even the worst part. So apparently the characters here are also traced.
Oh,
There's
that's the original.
and
They just
there's an
traced
overlay
off.
with James's version of these characters. The pose is a 1-for-1. Now, I'm sure many of you guys know this, but it doesn't matter how skilled you are.
I mean, it's a different story if you're looking at it and then you just draw it out, right? You're just looking at it for reference, right? But that is legit based upon what I'm seeing. It does look like it's traced, in my opinion.
Or as an artist, if you reference something, there's going to be differences between that thing and your drawing. It's never going to line up 1-for-1. So this being lined up perfectly is very suspicious. Going to start off that even if the final piece doesn't look like the original, he definitely starts off with the original. This is a post where he showed his process. The sketch is exact to the original, but the final is just a bit different. So if we take a look at that here, that is Jimmy's sketch, and that is the original reference that was used. Look at that. Again, a 1-to-1 copy. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Look at that. I thought maybe
like I said, you can take things as inspiration, and he works for Disney. So, I mean, still at the same time, to literally trace over and then just render it out in a different way, just be transparent. I traced over it. I'm just learning. I'm just working smart so I can get this out in production quick. People will honor that. And then you showcase, you doing stuff from scratch. Think of it like a singer. You know how many times these singers who know how to sing, they'll lip sync? They'll lip sync. They're not singing. Sometimes when they're on concerts, they're not singing at all. It's their music, it's their vocals, but they're not singing live. It's overlaid. But no one complains because they're legitimately are singers, right? It's not AI. They can legit sing. Transparency. That's all I can say. Just be honest. So what? But when you lie, that's when nah, I can't allegedly, like, people just, I'm not using allegedly properly, but it's coming off to me, in my opinion, that he is not being honest. And when you're not being honest, then people gonna out you even more. So just come clean. The truth will set you free. Right?
He actually made this 2014 one himself for a while, but the original is Steve Thompson's from 2013. So that is quite
Yeah.
clearly a one-to-one copy in terms of the composition, the characters, the pose. His work from 2014 is not even a millimeter off from Steve Thompson's from 2013. Here's another one. Couldn't come up with a single original pose here except for maybe 3 characters out of 18 as OP.
I'll even do a shameless plug because of the new feature that they have with the collaboration feature. I'm gonna do that with my other channel, and I only got 1 video so far. I'm gonna only post 1 video a month because of the editing, and I gotta draw the characters, and I'm making original character designs by combining 2 people into 1. So I did a recent one of Rhea Ripley, right, from WWE. So I'll show you guys the references so you guys can know where I got it, right? This is the references of Rhea Ripley and Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. And I've made it into an original character design called Rogita. So the pose is original. I didn't get a pose from anywhere, right? The foreshortening, everything was just all out of my head. I just looked at the references of what you guys just saw, right? With Rhea Rip. Sorry for zooming in, zooming out. My mouse is very sensitive. But yeah. So you guys can see that, and you guys also will see this one as well, which is just close up, right? Just without the other elements around it, right? So yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it, in my opinion. You can look at references, you can take it as inspiration, but then mold it into your own, right? Even if it's not a combination, it could still be like a Vegeta or a Rhea Ripley or whatever it is, right? It don't need to be a combination, but make it into your own unique pose that no one ever seen. But when you make a one-on-one copy, let's say like this, and I literally just traced over Vegeta and I just rendered it my way, like, that's not the way to do it. And if you are gonna do that, be honest and tell people, hey, I traced over this original source because I want to understand how to make my own style out of it, my own lightning, change the lightning projection instead of it being the light bouncing here and the reflection of light happening here. I did it the other way around so I can understand color rendering. People want to be mad if you've done that, but that's my opinion.
He overlays the original characters and drawings over James C. Mulligan's drawing. All of these characters that are in this image have a near identical, well, it's not near, sorry, basically perfectly identical overlay of that character in a different form done by a different artist. I mean, this is absolutely insane and it's just so very blatant. Even the portrait itself of Walt.
I mean, granted, this is not AI. However, it's almost as if it has the elements of AI. It's human intelligence, but it's moving in the strategy of AI, which is gathering sources that's already there, that's already out there in the internet, and just placed it right there and then just render it out. Man, I've never seen something like this before. I mean, yeah, it's still hard work because they actually did do the rendering. So this person is an artist. It's just they're just not able to they lean a lot towards working smart rather than working really hard.
Disney. Here's everything all together compiled, and watch when it's turned off and on. Everything lines up perfectly. This piece he's been selling forever is just an inspired art germ copy, and honestly, I cannot tell the difference between the proportions, the shape language here. He literally colors coloring book pages and sells them as his own original
Can't believe you
work.
took it out
And
of
this
art germ.
is insane. That's as close as you could possibly get. If it's a collage, then tracing most of it is okay, right? I mean, goodness gracious. More from coloring book pages and even a scene directly from the movie when the characters bump elbows, but they're bumping air here. So here's an overlay
And they're bumping air.
placed on the drawing of James C. Mulligan. That's a still from the movie. And again, this overlaid over James C. Mulligan's drawing is a 1-to-1. That is absolutely...
We have got to the point where literally anybody can
We
build a
have
fully
gone to the
working
point
app
where I'm
without
going
knowing
to
how to
skip
code.
this ad.
This is
Outta
insane.
here.
Now, a lot of people thought this piece was actually AI because of the way he spelled space adventure, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to give James credit here. He actually drew this himself. He just copied it from a plastic toy. It's a 1-to-1. Look at that. Even his originals might not be original.
What do you guys think about that? I mean, he's drawing it, but do you guys approve of his way of executing his strategies of the execution, the step-by-step process? Let me gather things online, put it together, and then just draw it out from there. Do you guys agree with that, or do you guys disagree with that? Do you guys believe you gotta make your own anatomy from it, or have more ingenuity? Because I think that's the biggest thing that's lacking here, is the ingenuity aspect of it. He just taking it like frame by certain things he just gathered. So it sucks that he got outed for it, because I wouldn't be surprised if other artists in Disney or any other industry moves like that as well, especially if they've been drawing so much over the years, you know, especially if they're a veteran. They kind of get tired of it. They kind of lose their passion, so they lean towards the working smart. So that's my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think?
In reference to his more traditional drawings. Milt drew a couple versions, with one being a perfect match. Look at the way that lines up. I mean, this evidence is about as damning as you can get. He also copied Gregory Manches's amazing painting here. Now, this is the James C. Mulligan version, and that is Gregory's original. Now, if you take some of these characters and just...
Did he flip it horizontal? Because I'm not gonna lie, I be doing that sometimes too. If I'm like working in my job, I will like certain assets that I do design. It's not just like character designs. That's my passion projects, is doing character designs. But it's interesting because I didn't know like artists would do the same thing as well with artwork rather than just like graphical elements. So
just overlay them on top of James's characters.
Flipped it horizontal.
Oh my goodness. Look at the way the poses match up. That is identical. And there's even more where that came from. If you just go on Reddit, you'll find that James actually copied another Lorcana artist. The left one was done by Brianna Garcia and was posted to her account in 2017. James posted the one on the right in 2019. Here's another example of James C. Mulligan drawing characters over a direct still taken from the movie and selling it as his own work at art conventions. And when I was doing a deep dive background on James C. Mulligan here, I found this one interview that I found particular.
James C. Mulligan. James is an artist from a career-long relationship with Walt Disney Company. His work is represented in galleries internationally and collected by everyone from the late Hugh Hefner, where his work was recently featured in Mr. Hefner's Lifetime Estate Auction, to Johnny Depp, Dick Van Dyke, and Richard Sherman. James' career spans over 3 decades, and his projects include An Amazement, Light Magic, Haunted Mansion Holiday, and working with the newly revitalized classics from Walt Disney feature animation. I told you, this guy got tired. Look at all this. He's painting all of that from hand. So as he gotten older, he's probably just like, yo, man, I'm just doing this for the check. I don't hate the man for that. I mean, we got bills to pay, right? It's easy for people who are not artists to be like, hey, you got to start from scratch. And I get it. I'm not on his side. I'm just saying in terms of the amount of work you have to do. And I get it. You signed up for it. So this is what you got to do. You signed up for it. But you're also a human being. And over 3 decades, man, like I said, if he came clean, I don't think this would have been an issue. But the issue is his pride. And he's lying. In my opinion, it's a lie. I made all of this from scratch. Yes, bask in my glory. Oh, wait a minute. Some artist did this first, and I just took it and I just made my own. Yeah, that's No, sorry, Bob. Mulligan.
Interesting.
name.
The interviewer asks, what is an artist's role in society and how do you see that evolving? To which Jimmy James C. Mulligan responds, I've heard people say that an artist's job is to tell the truth. I disagree. I think an artist's job is to lie to us in a way that we want to be lied to. We want to believe that Mary Poppins can fly. We want to believe that Monet's lily pads really had that movement and color. I hope I lie to the world beautifully with my art. You can't make this shit up. James. Oh, James. Make my job so easy for me. Now, James, of course, denies the allegations that he's been blacklisted from Disney, but in this screenshot with a Disney Fine Arts employee, they said, please know that we haven't worked with Jimmy since 2018 and have zero connection to him. His works have been deleted from our site.
It's just kind of, it's really interesting how he said that statement about lying, beautiful lies, right? We want to believe the lie, so I'm going to continue to lie. How poetic of using art history to convey your statement about lying. I understand where he's coming from because we look at the fantasies of beyond reality, like Batman, Superman, Goku. Like, we praise these fictional characters more than real people themselves. I get that, but it's interesting with the situation he's in with lying of his artwork being fully embedded, the process of it, from the cheating, taking shortcuts to get what he wants. Let's fast forward. What else is going on here?
Some of the people there. Now, I got a lot of this information thanks to my fellow YouTuber Inkwell, so go check out his channel and his video on this subject and go show him some support, because if Jimmy hasn't learned his lesson, he's going to try to take these videos down. In that case, Jimmy, maybe we'll just countersue him. Maybe we'll just... Yeah, maybe I'll get paid.
Uno reverse card. Okay, we get it. So let's read some of the comments of this. I really hope this video doesn't get taken down. He's 100% trying to cover the sun with one finger. That's a good metaphor. He's trying to cover the sun with one finger. I heard that Disney is crazy about their copyrights and we have person who copied from their official artwork. Here's the thing about Disney too, right? Disney always copies. If you work for Disney, that's what they're known for. It's not about you standing out as an artist working for Disney. You're supposed to have the same exact art style for Disney, so then everything could be consistent for Disney. That's how it is, right? No one is out here, I'm doing my own thing. Only a few, like Lilo and Stitch, has a whole complete different artwork, but they still follow compliance, right? You move as a unit, not as an individual. So it's incentive to trace. Even back then, they had actual actors doing the movement, and then the artists had to trace every single frame. That's why the old 80s, 70s, the 90s, they look so fluent, because they had actors, right? Character designs is all based upon consistency and tracing. The issue with him is that he is selling his own portfolio of artwork, in which he is taking it from other artists and claiming it's all original from his head. The composition, everything. No. He is a traditional Photoshop. If you think about it, it's traditional Photoshop. Just gather this, place it right there, but the traditional version instead of it being digital. So that's that. I'm surprised how he got that far in his career. So much evidence of plagiarism. The guy can't even simply make mistakes made by AI he used. Oh, that's the thing. Like, I truly believe he probably, and I could be wrong, he probably wasn't like that in the beginning, but over time, it took a toll on him, and he had his passion elsewhere. So he focused not heavily on the labor-inducive process, and he just cut corners. That's what I think. And that happens to people. It happens. It's just being real. Like, a passion is not something you love to do and you're always excited every single day for years and years and years. There are times where you don't want to do it, right? That's why it's a job. The career becomes a job. And it's like, I don't really want to do it, but I have to because I get paid. If I don't do this, I get fired and things of that nature. Or people will called me out, blah, 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 blah. Let me read one more. And this is why YouTube needs to be revoked. So it's more like it is used to be in the early days. Random person makes a copyright strike without the need of evidence. Videos, yeah, that's crazy. Video gets taken down, channel gets flagged, 2 more flags, and your channel is gone forever. So I would not let it slide. Yeah, it's crazy. They need to fix that. They definitely need to fix that. So what do you guys think? Share your comments down below. Those suggestions of videos you guys want me to react to in the future. And don't forget to check out the other channel. I'm going to have it as a collaboration. So show some love. I'm going to put in a lot of work. Actually, I already put in a lot of work, but I'm going to put in more work behind the scenes on that channel while I do reaction videos. And once in a while, I'll still do the drawing videos with a ballpoint pen. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.